Here we comes to A-Level Physics 1983 question 7. A particle is released from X and slips down a smooth curve to Y. So in this portion of the motion, we can make use of conservation of energy, which we have done in chapter 6 in order to calculate the speed when it comes to Y. So at Y, the particle will be projected at the horizontal speed of u, which we can later calculate it, and the particle would go through a parabolic path, and then it would hit the ground at C, which is 3 meters away from the edge of the table. So here we can separate the motion into two parts. Firstly, is from X to Y, where PE is converted to KE, so the particle would be projected with a speed u at point Y. And then the particle will undergo a projectile motion and it hits the ground at Z, which is 3 meters away from the edge of the table. Okay, so let us consider the green part of the motion first. I would assume at the beginning of the green part, time is equal to 0, and when it hits the ground, the time is t. So like what we have done before, we would like to calculate the time t by considering the vertical motion. Here, we know that the particle has dropped for 2 meters throughout this time period. So we would look at the vertical part of the motion. Sy is equal to uyt plus half ayt squared. Because this is a horizontally projected motion, so uy can be neglected. It will be 0. So Sy, which is negative 2 meters, and ay would be negative 9.81 because it is under gravity. After solving this equation, we will know that time the particle has spent before it hits the ground is 0.639 seconds. Okay, so we can calculate the projection speed at point Y, the projection speed at point Y, which is a horizontal speed, horizontal velocity. So Uy can be calculated by the horizontal motion of this projectile. It will be given by the displacement, horizontal displacement, divided by the time it spent. So the horizontal displacement is 3 meters, whereas the time is 0.639 seconds. So U at point Y is equals to 4.698 meters per second. And note that this is a horizontal velocity. Here, the y as in uy just means this is the speed at point Y. Don't mix it up. Okay, so this is a horizontal speed when the particle comes to point Y. And finally, we would like to find the distance h. So by conservation of energy, when we focus at the yellow part of the motion, we know that the PE the particle has in point X would be converted to the kinetic energy at point Y. Okay, so we can write that mgh is equal to half mv squared, where v is the speed at the lowest point, which is point Y. So let's put in the numbers and note that m can be cancelled out on both sides, so we do not need to care about m. G is 9.81, h is what we want to find. Uy is equal to 4.698. So we use this and solve for the equation. H will be given by 1.125 meter. Therefore, the answer is A.